Hello, hello.
Hello and Hotep. I see in the chat. That's what I'm talking about.
All right. Well, it is 12. It is 6 p.m. Eastern time, the dot, and anybody that knows
I'm gonna go sit in front of my.
on time. So without further ado, for anyone that doesn't know me, I am Director Jones, your current Assistant Director of Administration for SISTUH Incorporated. And I decided to have this amazing series that I'm calling Tag a SISTUH, which is this program slash interview slash Oprah moment for amazing sisters and sisters incorporated who are, average African American or Black and brown women who are juggling more than just being in this life, right? So we have today our first guest, Dr. Danielle Sweat Whylly. I'm saying your name correctly, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And she is going to talk to us about a lot of things, right? So I wanted her to be on this show first because I've seen some of the things she's done in the past, and it's symbolic on a lot of levels. It shows us how a lot of times we are in different scenarios throughout the day and we have to change the mask that we wear or just be serve in a different role, sometimes up to like 4 or 5, 7 different roles in one day. And I know it can be exhausting. I know it could be, challenging in a lot of senses, especially right now. We're going in the middle of COVID season, that I call it. And, we have our regular lives, which already consist of challenges. And then on top of it, everything else that we have to do. So without further ado, I wanted to talk to you all and get somebody's perspective of how to go through these challenges and hopefully get some advice. For myself, this is going to be useful. I'm not a wife. I'm not a mother yet. I am a career woman. But regardless of the things that we do and do not have with the person that's being interviewed, there may be somewhere in there that she can assist me or something that I can assist her with. Who knows? So today we're going to talk to Dr. Danielle Sweat Whylly and figure out how she can help us and some of the things that she juggles in life and just learning from her wisdom that she's accrued over the years. So without further ado, first question that I'm going to ask is, please tell us some things about yourself. Who is Dr. Danielle Sweat Whylly?
Okay, so first, can everybody hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? Okay,
Loud and clear.
good. Oh, very good. Come on, Wi-Fi. Um, I am Dr. Danielle Sweat Whylly. I rarely ever introduce myself as Dr. anything, but I am. I am originally from the Bronx in New York City. Okay, great. Kanitha can hear now. Okay. So I'm originally from the Bronx in New York City. I reside in the metro Atlanta area and am currently a member of the Metro Atlanta Professional Chapter of SISTUH Incorporated. And I joined FAMU a good number of years ago as a freshman at Florida A&M University, or FAMU, the collegiate chapter.
Okay.
And I've been a member ever since, most of the time active, sometimes inactive. And I've also been on the national board and been on the executive board, and I've, as of late, a general body member. I am married, a mother of 2, and I'm a social worker. So I work for the federal government, but I am a social worker. I work in community development, community capacity building, and primarily I create and implement crime prevention programs for youth, trying to keep our young people out of the criminal justice system. And I also work with ex-offenders who are coming home from prison after they've served their time in state or federal prison and trying to help them reacclimate to society.
So you already told us a mouth load, right? So I want to dive in there. So what does it mean? What is, like, I get, you told me about your job, you told me being a wife and a mother. So what does your day-to-day look like? Can you break us down with maybe a Monday or a Wednesday? Like, what is your most hectic day out of the week? What does that look like?
I don't have any hectic days.
Oh,
No, I'm lying. That's all. That was just to make certain people on this live laugh. I don't have it. I don't have any hectic day though. I don't have I don't know. I don't have a typical day. Every day is I feel like every day is different. I try to have a routine. I live by my calendar on my phone. If it's not in that calendar, I might be likely to forget it. But I help. Right now, I'm into my kids a lot. They're little. They're 8 and 5. So they're getting into sports and after school activities and things going. It's always something going on at their school. So I try to be very involved in that. Because that's very important to me. And I do a lot of community engagement with my job from day to day. I take a lot of phone calls. I have a lot of meetings with different members of the community, different projects that I'm pulled into. And sometimes I go into prison or a juvenile justice facility.
okay.
With COVID, that's been very sketchy. So we'll probably be starting back up in the new year, but you never know. Sometimes that's a part of my day. I'm still working from home, so that's been a blessing. Everybody can't work from home, so I'm very grateful for that. But yeah, my days are jam packed with a lot of things, and I often say to people, I don't know how people have time to like binge watch different shows and catch up on, reality TV and all that. I just be like, I want to sit and look at the wall by the time the end of my day. Like I want to catch up on some of these books I have stacked up in here to read that
Right.
I keep buying but haven't had a chance to read any.
Right.
So
Completely understand.
I'm moving from the time I wake up and work out. I've also been on a workout binge. I'm a Peloton rider, so I have a
those.
yes, I have a little crew that we call ourselves a WAP crew. Shout out to any of them on here. but our WAP stands for Wake Up in Peloton, so it's a little play of words. Anywho, I'm a Peloton rider, and I love that. So I try to do that daily, well, Monday through Friday. So that's definitely has become a part of my schedule as of March of last year. So I'm trying to be consistent for a whole year with just one thing for me, for myself.
Absolutely.
Riding Peloton Monday through Friday. So yeah, I'm busy.
So yeah, and Kanitha mentioned that you were busy too.
I'm booked and busy. I'm booked and busy.
So, okay, you mentioned that you use your calendar a lot and you live and die by your calendar. So is there any other things that you use to keep you organized and to give you that set of reminder to make sure you stay on track with things you have to do?
Organize is a very good word. I don't know if I'm organized or not, but I have about 5 different calendars. I have a work calendar. I have a family calendar posted on the wall. I have my own personal calendar on my phone. That now I'm starting to learn how to. I'm sending my husband some calendar appointments to try to help him remember stuff.
Right.
I have a lot of calendars. I try to stay on top of things. My kids have a calendar with their school work and stuff that I try to, it comes to my phone, so I try to stay on top of that. Yes, I got about calendars. I used to try to carry, the little cute calendar you buy at Office Depot and whatnot.
Right.
And then I would get the right stuff in it, or I leave it sitting somewhere. So I was like, yeah, no, I need to have the calendar be in something that I know I'm going to have every day. So that's why I use my phone calendar.
Right. So you have several different calendars, or are they all synced somewhere?
I wish they were all synced, but no. I don't know if anybody else is like me. I have like 5 different email addresses, right? I have different emails for different things.
Yep.
Now my kids have email addresses. So all of the email calendar, all of the things that I do and put it into my phone calendar, those are synced. But my family calendar that's up here on the wall, with family stuff and bills and stuff like that's on the wall, that's not synced. And my work calendar is on my work phone, that's not synced.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So I heard you mentioned, but you didn't tell us something that I'm also very shocked that you juggle in here as well. So how did you become an author at that? And then tell us more about the books and so on.
Yes, Tamora, my sister is saying Google Family Calendar. Yes, I got to get that together, the family calendar. I became an author. I started on a book one year when I was in college doing my undergrad degree, and I did not finish it until like 2 or 3 years later. I had to actually go back and read what I wrote. I think I wrote like the first half one summer while I was home visiting in New York, and I just left it, and then I went back and read it and finished writing it. And I want to say that was like, I don't even remember. I think that was 2009. I don't even remember. So sad. So sad. Yep. Kim said it. Pillow Talk is my first book. I just wrote about things that I was seeing, things that I was hearing about in my field of social work. One time for the other social workers in the chat, I see y'all. Social workers save lives. And then some things that I had, seen and known of and experienced in my family. So I put that into a novel. And I feel like everybody has some kind of story they could tell, whether it's about yourself or someone you know, or in your career, things that you've seen or experienced. Most of us probably just don't know how to tell a story, but I feel like everybody got at least one good drama in them, that they could write. Or some of us need to have, autobiographies because we're those type of landmark people. So, that's how I became an author. And then I've written and been a part of 3 other books since then.
Nice. Well, congratulations on everything, not just the books, but to still be able to produce out of everything that you're doing, and then writing and, working as a career woman and juggling being a mommy and definitely as a wife. And then you still want to offer some more time to service. So then you are a sister as well. I don't know how you're doing it, but congratulations to all of those things, everything you're doing. So to dive in just a little bit more, when you say you have a passion, I know you mentioned that earlier, what all are your passions? And then I want to mold it into, if you had to answer what your purpose is in life, what would you say that is?
Well, I think anybody that knows me knows that one of my passions is helping people. So I love to help people. I love for people to get what they need. One of my, thank you, my sister Becca's in there. One of the things that I've been very fortunate to do is to help people who have been incarcerated kind of get back on track.
Right.
And to me, that's very rewarding. Not just because I'm trying to help people not continue to commit crime, but just to see people get their lives back and get back in contact with their family and be back in their children's lives, and things like that is very important to me. My father was incarcerated when I was younger, and that's probably one of the most impactful things that has been a part of my life. So I feel like that's a part of my purpose, is helping is helping people. One of my good friends always calls me a divine connector. She says that, but that in social work, that's what we do. We're a bridge,
Right.
you know, for people. We're supposed to connect people to resources and help, you know, help empower people to have the life that they want, you know, or the life that they're trying to get. And so that's what I enjoy doing. And that's my passion. I also have a passion for writing. I used to write poetry. I don't do much of that anymore. I used to be part of a poetry troupe.
I wish you would have told me that earlier, like a few days earlier. I would have been like, bring something. So on the spot, we maybe do a little intermission between your interview and like you to recite a poem.
Right, turn the lights down. Oh yeah, I used to go in, but it's been a long time. But I do have a passion for writing. I have several other books that I have written up. I just haven't typed them. I have not pursued publishing them yet, but
right.
You know, one day. I also have a passion for teaching. I used to be an adjunct professor at Kennesaw State University.
Okay.
And I love to go back to doing that one day when my children are a little bit older.
Right.
Yeah, but those are basically the things that I have a passion for. I also love now, you know, self-care. I love self-care too. I would say that that's a passion for me too. I have a passion to shop. I have a passion to shop. Haven't done that a lot lately, but you know, since COVID, boy, this online shopping been getting me.
Yeah.
But I have a music, arts, poetry, you know, a Renaissance. I feel like I might have been born in a Renaissance era, but then I might not have been able to survive some of the things that those women, you know, endure, because that was a different type of woman.
Right.
Then so socially, I could claim, you know, maybe I would be a Renaissance woman, but not for real. Right. Not for real, because they were hard. They were hardcore, going through a lot of things. So those are my passions, and I really feel like helping people is my purpose.
Yeah, so just to rewind, just to go back to, you know, you're saying how you're helping incarcerated individuals and connecting them to, you know, life on the other side and making sure their stability and everything is connected as well. I think that's a huge, huge, huge part of life. A lot of people forget. And I wish there was a little bit more attention and focus on that rather than a lot of times, you know, putting people into the system. What is the solution to them afterwards, right? And getting them back on their feet. So it's a pivotal role that you're playing in those individuals' lives. So definitely want to say thank you for that and the work that you're contributing there. And then highlight the fact that, you know, you're doing all of these things. You found a passion that you have in your position, and then you're still putting out more work and servicing others through stuff like your organization and your work in your writing and your books and, you know, and whatever else that you're doing. And I think that's also amazing. So then it makes me think of this question, right? Like, because when you're doing so many things, some people think, when is she going to stop? For me, it's how do you stay goal oriented? So instead of saying, when are you going to stop? I'm always like, how do you keep going? Like, what keeps you going?
Goal oriented. Now, some people may not understand what I'm about to say, and that's okay. Maybe, you know, DM me if we need to have a further discussion about that. But I feel like I've completed so many goals in my life that I've had. I've pretty much been able to do everything that I've set out to do already, with the exception of travel to Africa. So that's one thing that remains on my to-do list.
Right.
But in terms of personal goals, what I see now as a goal for me is developing my children. You know, like actually raising my children, not letting the television or their peers, you know, or social media, you know, God forbid, raise my children, but me actually being an active, engaged parent. That's a goal for me. Helping them to be good, loving, kind people. We don't see a lot of that anymore, but I really want them to be good people, God-fearing people. And another goal is to have a good and successful marriage. Like, I love being married. I love having help. I don't know how single parents do it. Oh, my hat's off to them, especially with multiple kids. I don't know. I don't know if I don't know. I'd be somewhere pulling my hair out, I think. But, putting a lot of my goals into helping my husband get to where he desires to be. That's another goal for me. Some people might say, that's not my goal. It's nothing for me. But again, I really feel like I've accomplished a lot of what I wanted to accomplish, and I'm pretty content with where I am. I wanted to become the first doctor in my family. I did that. I wanted to write a book. I did that ×3. I wanted to go into government and be like Daniel in the Bible, who, kind of made his mark in government. I'm doing that. I wanted to work with ex-offenders. I wanted to continue working with juveniles who are, in the street and committing crime. I'm doing that. I feel like I've accomplished the goals that I have set. I'm not saying I'm ready to die, like I'm good with that. But, my main goals in life, I've done that. And now I just really want to pour into my children and my marriage. And those are my two primary goals.
I think that's so amazing because a lot of times you don't hear enough about the efforts and the passions and the goals in the actual household, right? A lot of times people feel like and it's unfortunate. It's actually how society works, right? You get more praise for the things you do outside of your house than what's happening inside your house that you're behind and pushing. So I definitely commend you on that. And wanted to mention Dina OAA says, Doc, greatness in the flesh, all of your passions are the seeds and water in which you have contributed to so many of us in an unselfish, humble, and virtuous way. Like smooth. I don't know what it means, but like smooth. Day all day says being engaged is truly important. Yes, definitely agree. Marriage and kids from Donc's real life. And a lot of praise in the chat room as well. So I do want to mention to anybody who is watching, please, if you have any questions that you would like Dr. Danielle Sweat Whylly to answer, I'm gonna call you Doc, okay? Because it's your doctor. And if you have any questions, please mention them in the chat, and I'll make sure I try to get through them before we sign off today. So while we were on that topic of pushing the family in the household, let's talk about your household structure. How do things function? Like, how do you make sure things function in the role that you play as wife and as mother? Is there any advice that you took, or is there any things that work out for you very well that you would like pass on to the next person who may be sitting at home and watching, or not even watching at all, but wants to know like how to make their household run smoother?
When they find out how to make the household run smooth, they need to tell me. They need to tell me, because sometimes we just be all over the place. I would say, a lot of prayer. Just pray a lot. A lot of prayer. Asking for help. I'm not afraid to ask for help. I think I just said this in our sisters meeting earlier today. Like, I don't feel like I have to be a superwoman. I don't feel that burden, like that strong Black woman syndrome. I call it is a syndrome. I don't feel like I have to do all that because I'm just great right the way I am. Like I don't have to prove, I don't have to cook, 7 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to, well, I'm gonna get better with cleaning up, with cleaning my house. But I ask for help though. I will pay. I pay uh, for help to clean.
So let's. How did you get to that point, right? Like, were you always like this, or did you start off and it was like, I got to do everything, and then eventually it trickled down to you saying, I can delegate this role, this to someone else. I could pay for somebody else to do this.
I don't know if I was ever like that, but there were pressures and thoughts in my head that I should be like that, and I should be doing certain things, and I should be able to fit all of that into a 24-hour day and still be, walking around happy and not looking stressed and not looking tired. But I rejected that because I was like, it just ain't no way. Women, I understand why women stay home back in the day with children and focus on it, because that is a full-time job in and of itself. But working full-time and, trying to actively raise children and, save time to still date your spouse and still try to give your spouse something that he needs, like that's a lot. Then you still have to have time for yourself to make sure you're okay and that your mind is okay. Then you still have to have time for God, and you have to spend time, in quiet time with God, not just praying and talking to God, but you also have to be listening, so 20, and you got to sleep, like you need a good 5, 6, 7 hours of sleep. So how can you fit all of that into one day? I don't know, but I'm good with having somebody clean my car. I'm good with, if I had enough money to have a personal chef, that would probably be me. Like I'm in a mansion or something. I don't even care. I would probably have a personal chef. I would probably have a personal assistant and a housekeeper. Listen, and I would be okay with it. And maybe one day that's coming. I receive it. But yeah, I ask for help. That's what I say. If you, in keeping your household functioning, nothing is good if you're no good. Like, and if you're not happy and you're not able to do all this stuff that people expect of you, and someone said, lies the world tells us, listen, we out here doing amazing things. Okay, so people have whole businesses that will come get your whole life together. Let them, they're virtual assistant. There's all kinds of people out there, and small Black businesses at that you can go and support. Support a Black business, support a small business, and hire somebody to help you get your life together. That's how my house runs. We hire people.
You have never lied. And I think it was Miss ZD that said, lies we were told. And, everybody, a lot of people have that same complex. And I'm seeing it a lot, especially across African-American women and women, period, right? We have this complex where we feel like we have to juggle it all, do it all. And then if you don't get to sleep, oh, well. If your safety and your health is being compromised, oh, well, you still got to get it all done. And you're basically saying, nope, I'll get it done, but I'm going to have this business do this and then that business do that. And I'm going to call on help here because I need it. And I appreciate somebody speaking up and saying that, because often we don't say that to ourselves. We're afraid for whatever reasons, whether it's society, how people's going to look at us, and how we look at ourselves as women. Sometimes we take it as us being less than if we can't come through and do the things that we were trying to do that day. And I appreciate you talking about, those things that Oh,
I was going to say for women who, that may not be married yet or that are planning to get married, this is something big that I stress, because you and your spouse have to be on the same page about that. Like, y'all have to have those kind of conversations beforehand, because some people have, you know, an unrealistic expectation,
Right.
and may want you to marry them and, you know, take over for their mama or something, you know, but don't want you to treat them like a child, but they may actually be trying to put you in the role of a mama instead of a wife. And if you're still out here trying to, you know, work and accomplish goals and, you know, conquer the world or whatever it is you're out here trying to do with yourself, y'all have to be on the same page about that. And if not, it's going to be a problem, you know, either, you know, now or later. But either way, you can't fake the funk on stuff like that. You have to be on the same page.
Right, right. So let's get back to this how you're preventing your ways to burning out, making sure that you don't have the burnout syndrome is what I like to call it. And a lot of times that's what happened, right? We take on all of these things and then you get to a point where it's like, I can't do it no more. I need to take a break from all this, you know, decline my membership here. I don't want to be a mom for a day. I can't be your wife right now. Like, for me, it's, you know what? I can't date for at least a week. Like, I can't do it right now. Dishes, you just gonna have to stay in the sink or go in the dishwasher. Sorry, dog, we're not going for that walk for me. But you have wife, you have mom duties, and then everything else on top. How do you prevent the burnout syndrome? And then, like you said, you already said you ask for help and you delegate certain things. But is there anything beyond that you do that maybe we can learn from?
I mentioned before self-care. I'm very big on self-care, doing things for yourself, doing things with yourself, hair, nails, toes, massage, spa day. There's a lovely spa here. I'm not gonna promote them, but they're 24 hours. And listen, you can go get your whole life in there with the lady jumping on your back and just working out whatever kind of stress you got. I'm all about self-care. Spending time with yourself, going on trips, you know, going on trips with your family, without your family, girl trips. I'm all about that. So that's how I prevent. And I take mental health days from work. I don't know and I count them as sick days. I don't count them as annual leave. I've done that since I've, you know, became a social worker. I've taken mental health days and I use that as sick leave, because we got to take care of our physical health, but we also have to take care of our mental health.
Right.
And actually, if you work with people, you know, people will put you somewhere else. So you have to, sometimes you got to check out from people. You got to turn your phone off and you just got to relax, relate, release, you know. So mental health day, mental health days get me through the whole year. It's hardly, you know, some in the federal government system and in some systems, I guess they have like use or lose. I don't know if I'll ever get to the point where I have so much leave at the end of the year that I have to use it. I use my days regularly throughout the year, mental health days.
Look, I'm learning. So I started my government job in April, and they gave me all the days that I would have for the whole year to take off. I will not have any days left at the end of this month. I am learning, and I'm okay with it. And it takes a lot. Like, I didn't realize the mental, like, phases you have to go through to be okay with taking these days off.
Yep. I don't know if my mom is still on here, but I got to shout out my mom. My mom was a no days off taking person for the longest time. And I just be like, but you have the time. Why won't you just take the time off? But now, baby, she will take off some time in a minute. And I'm so proud of her. I'm like, you go ahead and use your leave time. Now people, they weren't going to get done. They're going to get done or to be there when you come back. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And that's right, Kim. And you cannot feel guilty about it. You really can't.
So that's just a whole nother mentality. Back to our chat, actually. I'm glad you mentioned. I don't see any questions in the chat. I just want to remind everyone, if anybody has a question, please put it in the chat so I can mention them during our conversation before we log off. So please, please, please feel free to put in questions. We're loving your comments, though. Thank you for the comments so far. But absolutely, mental days are sick days. You know, making sure you're taking care of your mental, having those days to just give yourself some self-care. We don't talk about that enough amongst women, and I'm glad that you're mentioning these things. And you just seem so balanced.
I'm glad. Ooh, praise God, girl. I'm glad I seen Dallas today.
Yeah, because I'm learning a lot. So you also mentioned that, you know, sometimes you take trips without your family. I have never heard a mother or wife mention taking a trip without the family. It's very rare that I hear, oh, it's okay to do that. Like it is okay. They're okay. They're with dad, you know?
Yeah. Now listen. This is my husband is Caribbean, okay, and so he ain't never heard of it either, because his mom did not do that either.
Right.
But she don't. You cannot get the best Danielle. You cannot. There's no way. If I'm not able to release from every role and every hat and just be Danielle.
Right.
You know, I'm still, you know, if somebody get hurt or if somebody call saying I'm still a mama, right? I'm still a wife. But to just sit somewhere and be Danielle, because when you go on a family vacation, you still working. If you a mama, right, or whatever, you still working. It's still, you know, the kids get a good vacation. You don't really get nothing. You get a change of scenery, but you still working. So yeah, I try to do a trip with my family. I try to do a trip just with my husband, just so that we can have some time, whether it's a marriage retreat or a couples retreat or something where it's just us, so that we can reconnect. And then I also try to do a trip with, you know, my girls, whether it's my mom, my sister, or, you know, just my friends. So I think that's very important.
Absolutely. So you can still have fun and be an individual, even amongst all these other roles that you play in life. And I think that is a big picture to take away. Like that's
it gets up. You can cut up, and I can listen to music that I don't listen to throughout the year with my kids in the back seat, because I'm not that mom. I'm not the mom that still listens to ratchet music with my kids in the car. I can't do it. Every now and then I want to turn up a little bit, but I can't do it for my kids. So
right. Thank you for the wisdom. Look, thank you. I'm receiving all of this. So whenever it's my time, like, yeah, I'm going. So I'm receiving all of this.
You thank me when I come back.
Right. So one of my last questions, I definitely want to get to. This has all been great. You told us so many great things, a lot of advice. So one of my last questions for a piece of advice with all the multiple roles that you play in life. I know you said self-care, and I feel like you're going to say it again. But what would be your biggest advice that you would give to anyone out there that is juggling multiple things in life as well? And, you know, you're passing them by and you see that they're juggling these things and you feel vocal that day. What would you say to that person?
I would say, I actually, you know, self-care would be my second answer. But my first answer would be, you know, I don't know whether you believe in, you know, God, Jesus, whoever, but whoever your higher power is, I would say, you know, pray and ask God, is everything that you're juggling supposed to be in your hands? You know, sometimes we take on things just because someone has asked us to, and it may be a good thing, but it may not be a God thing. It may not be something that you're supposed to be doing in this season or right now. And sometimes you have to let things go. That's very hard for me. So I try to, it used to be very hard for me to say no to certain things and to certain things because I want to help, you know what I mean? Like I love helping people. That's how I feel. fulfilled. And if I can help somebody with their business, I can help somebody with their book, I can help them. I would say yes all day long to all kinds of random stuff.
Right.
And I just had to stop doing that and sort of align whatever it is that I'm doing with whatever my purpose is, and to pray about it first and see if that's something I'm supposed to take on. And then if not, or if I don't hear anything back in a certain time, then I tell them I can't do it.
Right.
Or I can't do it right now. Maybe, I might be able to in the future, but I can't do it right now. Or my plate is full. There's a number of things you can say to kind of get out of trying to take on something that somebody may want you to do. That may be a good thing to do, and they really may need that help. But maybe you got to refer them to somebody else who also can help with that, because I'm not the only person that can help people. So there's other people that specialize in things that I'm aware of too. So I can refer them to other sources for help. And so that's what I would tell someone who may be struggling with the things that they're juggling. Pray and see if there's something you need to let go. See if it's something that you were supposed to be doing in one season, but now that season has ended and you may just have not wanted to let that thing go, or that person go, or that relationship go. But in your heart, it's been time, so it's okay. You don't want to block your blessings, and you don't want to block something else from happening. So don't let that thing go if it's supposed to be that job or whatever it is, whatever it is. So that would be my number one advice. I don't know how people do life without God, or try to. I can't do it. It's too many pitfalls and potholes out here that I can't see, so you got to have some wisdom from on high for some stuff.
I agree with you, and it bounces back to what you said earlier about, sometimes having all those things and doing all those things at one time and not having that time to take a second away from it. You can't hear what you're actually supposed to be doing. Like, you can't hear, earlier you mentioned you can't hear God speaking to you. Well, how are you going to hear it when you're crowding your time, your place, you're so crowded and surrounded by all the things you're not supposed to be doing, mixed with things you're supposed to be doing. You don't know what you can't do because you can't hear him say, get rid of that or leave that alone. So I agree with you. It's being more in tune with yourself. And that's why I said I appreciate your balance, because not only are you hearing yourself, but you're calling out things. Oh, time to take a trip by myself. Oh, time for, self-care time. I need somebody to pound my back because, I need to get rid of the tension and the stress. Or now it's time for me to write this book, even though I started then. Let me finish it now. I appreciate you being in tune with yourself and saying, hey, I need help, or no, I'm gonna hire that Black-owned business to do this. And those are the things that we don't hear often. So I thank you for sharing those things with us, and definitely for closing out on that note as well. Before you go,
for having me. Absolutely. I appreciate the invite.
Absolutely. This was a good way to start off this series. And I want to make sure I mention one more time, if anybody has any questions, please put them in the chat. But before you leave, this is Tag a Sister. And Tag a Sister means that we are going to have another sister be tagged by the current sister that is on the interview. And Dr. Danielle Sweat Whylly, you're with your amazing self. Who are you tagging for our next sister to interview?
I'm going to tag an old sister from a FAMU 2001, spring 2001 sister named Valerie Newsom. She's married now, but when she joined Sister, she was Valerie Newsom. And she's also Brave Baby Books on IG. So I'm going to tag her in this, because I want her to, I'm very interested in what she got going on in her life. A new mommy, a business owner, and all kind of stuff.
Nice. So Sister Valerie, we are going to be in contact with you very soon to have you on Tag a Sister. We do have a comment from Miss Carrie saying, check in with your higher power. Ask, is everything I'm juggling supposed to be in my hands? It may be a good thing, but is this a God thing? By Dr. Danielle S. Whyly. Yes, you did say that. She said that very well, and I'm so in tune with it. So if there's not any more questions, any comments, thank you once again for joining us. This was amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you for imparting your wisdom. I think the best person to talk to and to ask for advice are people that are living those everyday lives and have something to say. And we appreciate you giving your time and your effort to letting us know what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and that you're doing your best, and some tips that we can take on while we try to do our best in the things that we're doing as well. Any last comments you want to give?
No, I just want to shout out to all of my sisters who are on supporting Tag a Sister. You have to, along with asking for help, you just have to have good people in your circle. And I definitely have been blessed with some really, really good people, some really good women. It saddens my heart that some women feel like they don't have good relationships with women, other women who are going in the same direction. And that's part of the mission of Sisters, that's part of the purpose of us as a women-based organization, not to be exclusionary, but, inclusion of women who are headed in the same direction and, can form a sisterhood and can form a bond and kind of defy those myths that Black women can't get along and that Black women can't compliment each other and be kind to one another and uplift each other. And those are just lies. That is just flat out not true. We do it all the time. Even if we fight, even if we disagree, we still love each other. We're still respectful of one another. And we try to make each other proud. And I just love my sisters all over the country, every chapter, and even those who are inactive, not a part of a chapter, you're still a sister. We still love you. And I just thank God for this organization that really changed my life as a freshman in college. And it has to be meaningful to be still involved after, 20 years.
Yeah, that does say a lot. It definitely does say a lot. And even everything that you have mentioned during your interview, that was the real purpose of having Tag a Sister, is to help out, sisters in their organizations, whether they're, in official positions or regular general body members, which we all know that's a big role in itself as well. And, people outside of sisters as well, and people having their everyday lives, all the information that you have shared can help and assist in any way and every way, right? Regardless of the role that you're in. So I think that is amazing. You do have some support out there. We have Miss My ZD said, excellent talk. Metro Atlanta chapter is definitely proud of you. And Sisters We Will Be from Kenitha. And then Metro Sister says, thank you for your words of wisdom. We love you, Doc. See? Just well, thank you again. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Yes, thank you again for joining us. As we said earlier, the next person who is it on Tag a Sister is Sister
Newsom. Mm-hmm.
Tagged you. You are it. I'm hoping you were up here so you could see us talk about you, because once it's vocal, we are vocal about it and we've said it verbally. That means you cannot say no. And I have
That's right.
Thank you all again for joining us. Hopefully we'll have the next episode in the next month or two. And I hope to see you all again, plus more. So bring a friend next time, okay? Thank you all.
Thank you. Have a happy holidays. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy New Year.
Bye, everyone.